Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Michelle Barrett. I've been a personal stylist for 25 years and I now help people like you build capsule wardrobes that mix and match easily. So welcome to my channel. So today I wanted to talk to the over 60s. In the comments, a lot of you have been telling me you've been telling me about how you've been getting on. You've also been making suggestions and also asking me questions about certain aspects of your wardrobe. And I just want to let you know that I listen to every single comment. I reply to every single comment, even the trolls. And I always listen to your suggestions, so I actually write them down. And one thing that's come up very frequently is how to dress when you've put on a little bit of weight. So most of us, when we're in maybe our teens, our 20s, our 30s, even going into our 40s, we kind of know what style we like. We've developed it over years. We feel quite confident, and then we put on a little bit of weight and it all feels a little bit off kilter, doesn't quite feel right, and you don't quite know what to do. So what a lot of people do is try and just cover it up. So today I'm going to talk to you about the common mistakes that I see women make and how you can enhance your best features, look a little bit slimmer, but it's not necessarily about looking slimmer, it's just about you feeling more confident and how you can do that using clothes. So I've got lots of tips for you today, and also I'm going to talk to you about the common mistakes that I see and how to avoid them. Now, before I go on, I want to say thank you so much to everybody who has subscribed, everyone who sends me messages, everyone who comments, likes, shares, because all of that genuinely helps me bring more content to you, so keep that coming. Right, so let's get started. Now, the first mistake that I commonly see women make is wearing dresses that hang straight off the bust, straight down. Now, don't get me wrong, I understand why you're doing that. Maybe you've put on a little bit of weight around the hips, around the tummy, and you just think if you've got this dress that goes straight down, it doesn't cling to those areas because you feel quite uncomfortable about it and it kind of goes straight over them. But what I can absolutely tell you that's doing is it's making you look bigger than what you are. Absolutely, without any shadow of a doubt, it's not a flattering cut on anybody, particularly if it's a dress that hangs straight off the bust, straight down, in like tiers as well. So my suggestion for you, oh, and by the way, all the way through this video, I'm going to show you suggestions of what I think you should go for, alternatives to where I see mistakes. So what I suggest you do is either go for a dress which is belted around the waist. Now, I know that might sound contradictory, particularly if you do have a bit of a tummy, but the best thing you can do is draw yourself in. If you've got your bust, you draw yourself in slightly and then you kick out again. Honestly, that is one of the best things to do. I know it feels like it's contradictory, but I promise you it works. Now, if you're not comfortable wearing a belt, because I know some of you aren't, just have a dress that slightly comes in, that's tailored. Maybe it's got darts from the bust and comes down, slightly tailored into the waist, and then kicks out in an A-line or kicks out in a flare after that. It will give you shape, it will give you definition, and just by having that flare or that A-line on your skirt and having the darts that come from your bust down to your tummy, you're creating a shape where it goes in like that. So actually what you're doing is you're fooling the eye into thinking that your shape is like that, rather than maybe a little bit more straight down if you've got a little bit of a tummy. So that's the first thing that I suggest. Another thing that you could go for is a dress that comes over the bust and then flares out from there. Now, the dress that I'm wearing now here, I don't know if you can see it, it's slightly more fitted around and fits down further, but that typical kind of tea dress look, which is a bit like this kind of style where it's very fitted around the bust and then it gently flares out from there. It doesn't have to be as fitted as mine. That works really well as well, because what that does is it still gives you that definition underneath your bust, which is always the smallest part of your body, by the way, but then it gently skims over that tummy area. So that's two options that I would suggest that are alternatives to those flared dresses or those dresses that tear out straight from the bust. Please avoid them. Now next up is similar to the first one that I mentioned, and that's tops that hang straight off the bust as well. Now unfortunately I see in a lot of plus size clothing particularly, they always seem to go for these tops which kind of hang here and then they just flare out, and it's the worst kind of style you can go for. Now don't get me wrong, it's fine if it's something that just skims the body, which is what I suggest, but these tops that just hang out and they just flare and they like go like this, it just makes you look bigger. Essentially what you don't want to do is add bulk or any excess material to areas where you are big. What you want to do is skim over those areas, so particularly over the tummy, and if it's over the hips then again you kind of just skim rather than cling or rather than add bulk. So don't add pockets where you don't want to, no big pockets here, or no detailing basically where you want to cover up. So kind of just have it skim the body. So again, an empire line works really well. So it kind of comes across here, and then again underneath the bust it gently skims out. That's a really, really good shape for somebody who's got a little bit of weight on the tummy. So again, darts that come out from underneath the bust and then go straight down. So look out for tops like that. If you really struggle with your body type and you really struggle to know what clothes work for you, then definitely book in for a consultation with me. I'd love to meet you. I really love meeting you all over the world. It's wonderful, and I'm sure I can have a chat to you about how I might be able to help you. Now next up, big mistake that I see people making is really baggy, loose fitting hoodies or tracksuit bottoms or sweatpants as you might call them. Now again, the reason why this doesn't work is because it adds relatively thick, bulky material to all of those areas again. So choose, if you want to go for hoodies, there's absolutely no reason why you can't wear hoodies, but choose something that skims the body rather than is really loose and baggy and adds all that bulk, because you might think that you're covering yourself up, which in a way you are, but you're actually, in addition, you're covering yourself up too much and adding too much material. So go for hoodies that are a little bit more slim fitting, like a regular cut rather than the oversized cuts. And with tracksuit bottoms, I'd recommend you go for tracksuit bottoms that come in at the waist and then gently flare out. So avoid the ones with the cuffs unless you're very tall, because the ones with the cuffs again will cut your legs in half and make your legs look shorter. So that's the next one, is sportswear. Choose something that's a little bit more in a regular cut or a slimmer cut rather than really big and baggy and oversized. Next up is chunky knitwear and fleeces. Now I see this an awful lot as well. Now there's no reason why you shouldn't feel warm. You need to feel warm obviously in the winter, and I don't want to deny you that, particularly if you live in a country like we do where it can get really cold. You definitely need warmth, but what I would suggest you do is go for quality fabrics that hold the warmth better rather than these really big thick bulky fabrics. Now if you are on a budget, which I know some people are, try and get pre-loved. So look at Poshmark, look at eBay. eBay are now allowing people to list for free, so more people are listing on eBay again. Vinted, if it's in your country. Depop is another one. So look at some of these apps and have a look at what is available secondhand. So buy pre-loved and you'll be able to get better quality for a better price. So avoid those really thick sort of, they often call them Sherpa fleece kind of fleeces. Where they're quite in their kind of fluffy fleece, because again it just adds all that bulk. And if you're going to go for fleece, go for those thinner fleeces in something that again is either tailored to cut or a regular cut or a slim cut rather than oversized, and adds loads of that bulk and makes you look even bigger. In addition, go for kind of darker colours than the lighter colours as well. And with knitwear, the alternative to having really chunky knitwear is you could look at having cashmere or merino wool or 100% wool, which I know sometimes can be itchy, but if you wear something underneath it, then actually you can combat that as well. But those fabrics will often, because they're natural fibres, will often hold the heat in your body a lot better than the more unnatural fabrics like the fleeces, to be honest, those false fleeces, because they're made basically generally by plastics. They don't actually hold the heat in so well anyway. So if they're really thick, not only do they add bulk to your body, but they also won't hold the heat in like a natural fibre like merino wool or cashmere will do. And I know it's more expensive, but often those fabrics don't need to be as thick and they still kind of contain that warmth. So that's what I suggest for fleeces, knitwear, when it's cold. The next up is harem jumpsuits. Now the harem jumpsuits are the sort of ones that start here and sometimes they've got elastic around here, or they've got some sort of strap, and then they just sort of balloon out right to the ankle. Now there's nothing wrong with them. I actually own one myself, but mine actually draws in under the bust here and then it gently kind of flares up. But the ones that kind of hang straight from your bust and go straight down, it's a little bit like the dresses I mentioned. It will do nothing for you. So what I suggest, if you, like me, you like jumpsuits, I do particularly have a bit of an affinity for jumpsuits, is similarly to the dress, choose one that either comes in at the waist with maybe a little tie belt, or that you can put a belt on, or one that comes in underneath the bust here and then kind of gently flares out into the leg. But I kind of think for most people you would be better off with one that's belted rather than the harem that hangs straight down again, because it has that similar effect to the dresses. Next up, and I see this probably almost every day, and it's skinny jeans with really big baggy jumpers. Now again, I understand why you're doing this, because you're thinking, well, I've got nice legs but my tummy's big, so I'm trying to cover it up. But what would look much better, and actually let me explain this, so if you're wearing sort of really skinny jeans and then you've got a really big baggy jumper to kind of cover your top half up, what you're doing is you're emphasizing that shape, because you've got these little skinny legs that stick out the bottom and then there's this bigger bit on the top. So what you kind of want to do is create balance and kind of fool the eye a little bit. So what I'd suggest you do is to go for straight leg or wide leg jeans or trousers that finish normally around the waist, and then have a top that finishes at around the waist as well. If you're wearing a blazer, then have that come no lower than the lower hip, so at the top of the hip but no lower than that. Because what you want to do is we want to create that shape again. We will kind of force the eye, or fool the eye into kind of creating that shape again. And if you think about it, if you've got something that's bigger on top and then you've got some straight leg or wide leg trousers at the bottom, it balances out better. Otherwise you just look really, really top heavy. So definitely go for straight leg or wide leg jeans or trousers if you have a bit of a tummy, and then choose a top that kind of finishes around the waist area, so you can kind of create a little bit of a definition. It doesn't matter if it's not, it doesn't have to be fitted, but something that just sort of skims that top area. Now the next one that I see happen quite a lot is ill-fitting blouses or shirts, so particularly button down. Now if at any point, whether it's across your bust, whether it's across your tummy, it's kind of stretching and it's creating that gap effect, and you're kind of literally got those little like kind of shapes like this, then what I would suggest you do is go up a size. I know sometimes people will say to me, well, the trouble is when I go up a size, it's then too big on my bust or it's too big around my waist. So have it adjusted. You know, if you find a shirt or blouse that you really like and you have to wear them for work, then have it adjusted. So go for that bigger size, but have it taken in on the area where you are smaller. Because I promise you, when it's kind of stretching, it's creating that effect like that, it doesn't look good, and it just makes you look bigger than what you are, because again it looks like it's stretching right across your body. Again, if possible at work or whatever occasion it is you're going for, if you are kind of looking to try and minimize your tummy area, then go for dark matte colors. Next up, and this is a really big one, I think most people kind of can identify with this one, and that's jersey or shiny fabrics on dresses. So particularly jersey material, it is awful for clinging to everything you don't want it to cling to, basically. So if there's any part of your body that you are, something on my face, if there's any part of your body that you are not comfortable with and you have put a little bit of weight on and you're feeling quite conscious about, the last thing you want to do is wear that very thin kind of clingy jersey, because it will cling to every single area. Now I also know that sometimes the reason why people do that is because they're trying to slim it down and try and kind of hide that shape. So the worst thing that you could do, just to make this really clear, is you could go for a shiny jersey fabric that not only clings to your body, but then also adds definition where the light hits that shiny fabric and it actually clings to those shapes as well. So that's the worst thing that you could do. Now the best thing that you could do is go for more structured fabrics and maybe sort of woven fabrics rather than jersey, which is knitted. Go for woven fabrics that have quite a lot of structure and maybe stretch in them. So more tailored, maybe a shift dress. Again, you go for something which kind of just skims that tummy. So go for something straight rather than really clingy. It doesn't have to really cling to you, but just sort of skims your body comfortably. And go for matte colours as well, darker matte colours rather than really shiny, clingy jersey fabrics, because that will just emphasise it. If you think about it, if you look at fabric when it's just laid down or where it's on your body, if it's a matte colour, the way the eye hits the light and the eye hits that fabric is it kind of blends. Whereas if it's a shiny fabric, it creates definition. You would see a lot more definition under the bust, you'd see a lot more definition, the shape of the tummy, shape of the bottom and everything. So definitely go for matte, structured, tailored dresses rather than those jersey or shiny options. Next one is frills and floaty fabrics. Now this could be in a top, it could be in a dress or anything. Now it's not to say you can't wear frills and it's not to say you can't wear floaty fabrics, but my top tip is only add the frills and the floaty side of it to areas you're happy with. So it could be on your cuffs, it could be around your neck, and this I'm thinking if you are really conscious about your tummy area. Essentially, don't add too much fluff, frills, fuss or floaty, any of those F's, anywhere near an area that you are quite conscious of, because it just sort of draws attention to it, you know, the way it's moving through as you're walking, etc. But maybe you have something around your cuffs, or you have an interesting piece of jewellery that draws the eye away from it. So there's no reason why you can't wear those fabrics and those frills, etc. But think carefully about where they are on your body. Instead, choose more structured, kind of tailored, kind of simpler outfits. Now, it doesn't mean to say, I know some of you will say to me, oh, but I love wearing colour and I love wearing all these floaty kind of garments, and that's absolutely fine. You know, you can do it, but if you're trying to hide your tummy area or bottom area, whatever it is, add it in somewhere else, add it to a different part of your body, and then keep it quite plain and kind of structured elsewhere in the area you are more conscious about. So in other words, add the fuss, the detail, the attention, where you want the eye to be drawn to another part of your body. Now, last but not least, and this again is a very big one and also a very common one that I see. Now, in colder climates, this won't apply to anybody in a warmer climate, but puffer jackets and puffer coats. Now, if you already have added weight to your bottom or your tummy, which is the most common areas, that's the reason why I'm using those, and then you add a puffer jacket on top, guess what you're adding? You're adding bulk. You're adding bulk and you're adding width and you're adding weight. Particularly, similarly to the chunky jumpers that I was talking about earlier, if you wear a big puffer jacket and then skinny or leggings underneath to try and cover up your tummy, it just makes you look like a ball here and then two little stick legs coming out the bottom. So, similar to how I suggested with the knitwear and the fleeces, I would suggest you go for more natural fabrics. So look for a tailored coat that comes in at the waist. It could come in a little bit, maybe have darts under the bust and then gently flares out. That could be a trench style coat, it could be a wool coat. Again, another top tip with this, with coats to avoid the puffer jackets and everything else, is to also choose single breasted. So choose something with a lapel that comes straight down as single breasted and runs down your body, because what that does is it draws the eye down your body rather than across. The puffer jacket, particularly with those puffy stripes that go like that across your body, is just making you look wider. So that tailored kind of style where the dart will sometimes come from here and it go all the way down the body, that draws your eye down the body, and it works really well, like I say, if it has a gentle flare that comes out from the waist and gently kicks out after that. So choose them in wool or any of those, really, merino or cashmere, whatever it is you can get your hands on, but look for something that's really good quality. I promise you, a good quality tailored wool coat is absolutely wonderful and will last you for years. So I hope you found that helpful. Just to conclude, my main top tips for looking slimmer is choose fabrics that are tailored, maybe with a little bit of stretch in them. Choose darker matte fabrics. Add detailing, jewellery, accessories to other parts of the body. Well, maybe you could add it to your body if you wanted to, but body around the neck or around the cuffs, or maybe interesting shoes or your bag. So add the detail and the fuss elsewhere and keep it matte, dark, and skimming the body, not clinging to it, not adding too much excess bulk. So I hope you found that helpful. Let me know in the comments what you do, you know, whether you found something that works really well for you, because I do love hearing from you. I know sometimes some of you will come back to me and you'll say, I do this and it works really well, and I think that's fantastic. I love it when I hear that either you've implemented something that I've suggested and it's working for you, or you've got another suggestion that I haven't thought of. So definitely comment below, like, subscribe, tell your friends, and please share as well. And also let me know in the comments what else you'd like to see. So that's it for now. I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.